key to business, especially when you need to work together with people that aren't in the same office. So what do millions of small business professionals do when it's time to connect with remote clients and colleagues? They use Citrix GoToMeeting, the proven solution for meeting and collaborating online. Now it's your turn to see why. Visit GoToMeeting.com and click the Try It Free for 30 days button. That's GoToMeeting.com for your free 30-day trial. GoToMeeting. Meeting is believing.
Wells Fargo has exciting news. Until November 16, 2014, customers can come in for a free credit score and complimentary credit report. That's almost as exciting as a credit tip sung by our barbershop quartet.
Your payment history is the biggest factor in your credit score.
Not bad, guys. Come into Wells Fargo for your free credit score and complimentary credit report. Wells Fargo.
Together we'll go far.
Wells Fargo Bank N.A. member FDIC. See a banker for specific promotion details.
The restaurant we've all been waiting for is here. Introducing Ipan Mano Kitchen. Critically acclaimed chef Silva Sennett and his culinary team specialize in new American Asian cuisine. The very best in Chinese, Japanese, Thai food with an American flair. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Ipan Mano Kitchen is located inside the Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News. Call 249-0033 and log on to ipanmanokitchen.com. Find them on Twitter at ipanmano.
Hello, this is Big Bear inviting you to visit myself and Grandma Bear at Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you'll find the best new and gently used children's brand name clothing and equipment. Clothing from newborn to teens, dresses, suits, shoes, strollers, bassinets, toys, and anything else you need. Little Bear's is your stop. We even carry maternity clothes. Check us out on Facebook or stop in 200 North Battlefield Boulevard in the Harbor Watch Shops of Chesapeake near the locks. Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you're always greeted with a smile.
Excellent Italian food is found at Spaghetti Eddie's, a neighborhood restaurant with a great family atmosphere and delicious Italian cuisine. Define Spaghetti Eddie's. New York-style pizza, pasta, subs, calzones, soups, salads will bring you back again and again. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Greenbrier and Western Branch. Quality Italian food is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
Thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Like always, this is Sports Scene, live and local right here on News Talk 1650. Also anywhere on TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT. Sports Scene is an interview show every Wednesday. Save the date, 12 to 1. Also, don't forget sports highlights on NNPSTV.com as well. This is your home for CBS News. Tell your friends about 1650 on Facebook. On Twitter, follow me at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, at HROnlineMall.com. Most of us have more than one Twitter handle. Again, Greg Bick, Sports Highlight, GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military. Save the date, Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition. As you've been hearing the commercial right here on 1650, starts tomorrow. Fall Edition, tomorrow 4 to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday 11 to 10, indoors only at the Hellenic Center. NewportNewsGreekFestival.org. Great guest lineup today as well. We'll get to them in just a few moments. Sponsors on GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors. Also our guest lineup presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Phone line presented by Spaghetti Eddie's in Chesapeake with 2 locations. Sponsors in October on my show and throughout the week: India Palace, Newport News Greek Festival, Spaghetti Eddie's, Ipan Mano, and Little Bears. And of course, GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archived shows of Sports Scene, and also Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Your place to shop right now in Hampton Roads. Great place, as always. Over 34 businesses on Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. And of course, the World Series going on and a lot more. Stay tuned for Sports Scene after these messages. The tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with the fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Traverse Road in Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition October 23rd through 25th.
The restaurant we've all been waiting for is here. Introducing Ipan Mano Kitchen. Critically acclaimed chef Silva Sennett and his culinary team specialize in new American Asian cuisine. The very best in Chinese, Japanese, Thai food with an American flair. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Ipan Mano Kitchen is located inside the Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News. Call 249-0033 and log on to ipanmanokitchen.com. Find them on Twitter at ipanmano.
Hello, this is Big Bear inviting you to visit myself and Grandma Bear at Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you'll find the best new and gently used children's brand name clothing and equipment. Clothing from newborn to teens. Dresses, suits, shoes, strollers, bassinets, toys, and anything else you need. Little Bear's is your stop. We even carry maternity clothes. Check us out on Facebook or stop in 200 North Battlefield Boulevard in the Harbor Watch Shops of Chesapeake near the locks. Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you're always greeted with a smile.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they feature an excellent lunch buffet at their 2 establishments. Visit the 2 locations, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off Battlefield and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Online, IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Call 410-1183 for the India Palace. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Ken, I got to ask you before we get to our next guest, have you seen that show on Fox on Monday night called Gotham? Have you seen that show at all?
With a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, I don't, and 10 hours here at the station and at the Commodore and at Studio Center.
You don't have time for anything.
A little bit of television I watch is usually Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network.
Well, anyway, that's an excellent show, folks. Highly recommend Gotham. Really good show about kind of the darker side and the sinister side of the villains of Batman before they became the villains. But anyway, speaking of Fox, the World Series is on Fox, and of course, right in the heart of it are the Kansas City Royals taking on the San Francisco Giants. The Giants are up 1-0. To tell us more about it from Kansas City, let's welcome Todd Leabo. Todd, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. Probably the Kansas City fans were a little happier before last night, but no one's going to run through the entire postseason without ever losing a game. We'll have to see if they can bounce back tonight.
Todd, tell us about your credentials as we get started here. You've been involved in Kansas City radio for a long time, and of course, you got big roots in Oklahoma and both Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm from Kansas City, went to college in Oklahoma at the University of Oklahoma, and I've worked in television and radio in Kansas City since 1992. Mm-hmm. So I'm 44. I'm getting older. Got some gray in my beard. That can happen a little bit, but it's been a long time for Kansas City baseball fans to have a World Series come back. As a person from Kansas City, I was 15 years old when the Royals were last in the playoffs, much less winning the World Series in 1985. So it's been a long time. A lot of people are excited about this event finally coming to Kansas City. And it was a wonderful night last night, beautiful night, warm day that we don't normally get in October, late October in Kansas City. And it was all great until about 7:15 when the Giants started scoring runs. And at Big Game James Shields, it was not very good last night.
And the Royals have played so well in the postseason up until last night. But, of course, it is the best of 7, correct?
Yeah, best of 7. So, you lose the first one. But, the thing is, the Royals are a funny team. They're not a big offensive team. They pitch, they play great defense, and their bullpen's outstanding. But the way to beat them is to not have the bullpen be a factor, which is what happened last night. The Giants got on the Royals early and, had 5-run lead, 3 runs into the game, or 3 innings into the game. The Royals beat the Orioles the last 2 games at home in the ALCS by scoring 2 runs in each game. Well, that wasn't going to do it last night because the Giants got 3 in the first. And when the Royals scored those 2 runs in each game in the ALCS at home, they didn't score it with any base hits. It was a ground out, it was a sac fly, and then it was an error. So I mean, they are not exactly a team that's going to beat the ball over the wall. And I think last night they had come back in the Oakland game, the wild card game, when they were down big, but there just wasn't enough there. They were facing a tough pitcher in Bumgarner, and they didn't have enough to get it done. It is a long series though, but tonight's monstrously huge because you don't want to go down 2 games at home and expect to win the World Series.
We're talking to Todd Leabo. This is Greg Bicouvaris, Sports Scene, live right here at 12:15 on News Talk 1650, your 10,000-watt voice of CBS News in Hampton Roads. Go to tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone and your computer. And you mentioned 1985. Of course, the Royals and the Cardinals were in the World Series then. It could have happened again, Todd.
Yeah, it was close. It's kind of funny. That was obviously a really big deal back then, not to the rest of the world, but to the state of Missouri. You can get there 3.5 hours or so, depending on where you live in town, one side of the state to the other. And there's plenty of people who live in each city who were born in the other city and, move because there's, a lot of commerce goes back and forth across the state. So there's a lot of Cardinal fans in Kansas City, a lot of Kansas City fans in St. Louis. And that was epic in 1985. And the Cardinal fans have been angry for 29 years that they felt they were cheated out of the World Series because it was the bad calls in Game 6 that allowed the Royals to win. So they would have loved to have had their revenge. And I think Royals fans, some would have loved to have their revenge, but others would be like, well, you've already got the one, and you never play again. So you would root against the Cardinals, in which they didn't make it.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it goes. There's plenty of divided families around here, too. You got a husband and wife who are from each city. And in the end, it's probably healthiest if they don't play in games that matter.
Right,
what it's like. You guys are down there in Florida. We got big colleges and stuff where, Florida State families, Miami, Florida families, things like that. It can get serious sometimes. Sometimes it's best to not have those things happen.
Well, here in Virginia, of course, we got the Orioles and the Nationals, and they're like the Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
The Redskins and the Ravens separated 35 miles apart, and then you look at like the 49ers and the Raiders. There's a lot of regional rivalries like that. That would have been really interesting to see how Fox would have showcased it and so forth. But it'll be fun. What do you think the keys are for the Royals in the next few games? People always talk about football as a game of inches, but postseason baseball, Todd, talk about dramatic. Every pitch, every guy getting on second base, every run could be devastating.
It is, and especially for the Royals when the margin is so thin on them scoring. So you think about the big key for the Royals is this: they don't hit a lot of home runs. Okay, we know that. They've hit more in the postseason than they generally have in the regular season, on average. But they don't walk a lot. And they don't strike out a lot. That's fine. If you don't walk and strike out, that's okay. If you're not going to strike out, that's fine. But they need to walk more. Last night, they get in a situation that the Giants go up 3-0, and the Royals get their 8 and 9 hitters on base to lead off an inning, and they've got the top of the order coming up. Alcides Escobar is a fine player, but you got to take a pitch somewhere. They just climbed the ladder on him. He struck out in 4 pitches, and that's not going to get it done. So you need to work the count a little bit more. They're not a team that has a lot of patience. They did not exhibit patience last night. Eventually that inning got to bases loaded and 2 outs, and Eric Hosmer, who's come on and played quite well in the postseason, swung at the first pitch, grounded out to second base. You just got to have a little more patience because the Giants know the Royals don't walk a lot, so they're gonna pitch him that way. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty amazing. The Royals leader this year in walks has 65 walks. That's Alex Gordon, and that's over 20 more than anyone else on the team. And they've got a lot of guys who've played a lot of games. This isn't like a bunch of guys played 89 games. Their entire starting lineup, all of them played 135 or 40 games or more. They just don't walk, and they need to walk. They need to get on base because they have a wonderful running game and speed game, but they don't hit all that well. So you got to get on base somehow. So I think patience at the plate will be the key for this team. And if they can do that and get themselves into games, that'll take them to the 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th innings, and their bullpen can be a factor. But last night was no factor at all. The best back-end bullpen in Major League Baseball just sat down there, cooling their jets. They couldn't pitch.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Todd Leabo right here. This is Greg Bicouvaris, Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Glad you're with us right here on News Talk 1650. Your home for the Norfolk Admirals in Hampton Roads all season long. And, of course, you talk about, what's next and so forth and who the stars might be. But really it's just, coming together and really buttoning up. I'll say this, Todd, the Orioles fans and the Orioles, the team looked like a AAA team against the Royals. They had no idea what to do.
Yeah, that worked out well for them. I mean, I think the Royals pitching has been okay. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the bullpen has been great. but everything just kind of went the Royals' way in the playoffs up till last night. If a ball could be caught, they got to it. And if the Royals hit a ball, it was just out of the reach of whoever they were playing, whether it was the Royals or the Angels or the A's.
Sure.
And last night, it worked a little differently. And I think eventually the Orioles just got down, and, they were kind of defeated. So that's what the Royals have to kind of avoid here. If you get down a couple of games and you're going on the road, you can really kind of have that defeatist attitude, and that's what they kind of have to guard against. But listen, it's. I don't think the series is over. Obviously, if they lose tonight, it's still not over, but it's probably over. Well, you can. If you go down 2-0, obviously the math tells you can win. It doesn't happen very often to go down 2-0 at home. But in 1985, one time the Royals won the World Series, they lost the first 2 games at home to the Cardinals, and they end up winning the series. So it can't happen.
Yeah, one of our listeners just texted me, of course, and telling me, it's so tough to come back after you lose game one. But that's true for pretty much the NHL, the NBA, and any sport. But we're talking to Todd Leabo right here. And Todd's gracious enough to join us for a few more minutes, and we're going to get some nuggets of him about Kansas City sports. All right, let's talk about one guy that's not there, the former Notre Dame coach, high-profile coach Charlie Weis. Why didn't it work out? And Kansas.
Well, you got to win. You know, I'll tell you what, we were all shocked. Coach Weis had spent a year in Kansas City, 2010, as the Chiefs offensive coordinator, and he's got an attitude, a little brashness about him. He came in and said, "Hey, my job's to fix the quarterback," and he likes to tell you about all the Super Bowl rings he won and all that. So he came in, and the Chiefs did have a nice year that year, and they made the playoffs, but he left and accepted the job as the Florida Gators offensive coordinator during the playoffs, right when they made the playoffs. So right then you're like, what's this guy all about? What's he doing this for? And I was very shocked, especially with how bad Florida's offense was in the year he was down there, that Kansas had tabbed him to be a head coach because he had no success of real note at Notre Dame and had been bad as a college coach at Florida. And to come up and entrust him to your program, I thought was a miss from the beginning. And it never got better. He talked a lot. He'd always say, here's Dane Christ. I recruited this guy at Notre Dame, and it didn't work out there, but he's going to come in and be a transfer. It was always, this guy's great. You can't believe this guy in practice. And they were never any good. It's historic how bad they've been in league play. And there's been some historically bad teams in the Big 8, Big 12. Over time, they've been just awful. And they made the move to fire him. He told everyone at the beginning of this year, hey, just give us September, and I think you'll be pleased, and no one was. So he got fired, and he's out, and no one's heard hiding their hair of him in the last 3 weeks. So I'm sure he's just sitting on a pile of money somewhere.
Greg Bicouvaris talking to Todd Leabo right here on News Talk 1650, WHKT, tunein.com, type in WHKT, talking World Series, talking football, talking a mirage of sports right here with Todd. Todd, then we shift gears to a guy that's worked out, Andy Reid. When you talk about the Chiefs, they were so consistent when Marty Schottenheimer was there. Then it was a revolving door of quarterbacks, coaches, and it seems like now they finally found their guy in Andy Reid, led him to the postseason last year. He was totally burned out with the Eagles after he left in 2012, but I think this is the best possible move going to the AFC, and Reid definitely has a little bit more quiet profile this year than last year, but he's gotten it done with winning on the field.
Yeah, he has, and this year is interesting. The very first week, they looked like they couldn't beat anybody. That was as bad as it could be. They got whipped at home by the Tennessee Titans, who aren't any good, if we can all see at this point. And you're beginning to really kind of wonder what this thing is all about. They've really turned the ship around. They're 3-3 at this point now, and they've got a big one at home against St. Louis, which had the Royals and Cardinals been playing, it would have really been epic to have the St. Louis Rams and the St. Louis Cardinals and all that stuff kind of going on. Didn't happen. Cardinals didn't make it, but they've got the Rams in town this weekend. And if they win this game, they're back over 500. And I don't think people, when they looked at the schedule early, would have thought that could possibly happen with the schedule they had in front of them, because they went out and won at San Diego last week. They've already been to San Francisco and lost, and been to Denver and been to Miami. They've had some tough road games. But it's been good. I mean, Andy Reid brings a real air of professionalism that they probably haven't had in quite a while, because when they brought in the new regime 5 years ago with Todd Haley was the head coach, and then they would continually bring in guys like Charlie Weis and Romeo Crennel came in, and then they fired Todd Haley in the middle of the year, and Romeo Crennel got the job. The whole thing was just kind of unprofessional all around, and it was just too much. And I know they always say the only constant is change in the NFL, but you can't have that much. Not at the head coaching position. Of course, you're going to have quarterbacks get hurt and players get hurt, but they need some consistency, and Coach Reid has brought that. and he's very professional about the way he goes about his business, and people have been nothing but happy. Now, listen, this team also hasn't won a playoff game since 1993 season. That's an eternity in the National Football League. As many chances as you get to make the playoffs, because more teams make the playoffs in the NFL, and you figure you just might luck into a win at some point. They had a 28-point lead against the Colts last year in the first round of the playoffs and lost the game. So he took a little bit of heat about how they would manage the clock at the end of that game, because why would you lose a 28-point lead in the second half of a playoff game? You have to make some mistakes here or there. So there have been those things. But if he gets to make the playoffs this year with the tougher schedule they have, as opposed to what they had last year, they're playing the entire NFC West this year, and that's a whole lot different than playing the NFC East from last year, because we all know the Redskins were awful last year, and they played them late in the year when they had all but given up. And Dallas was not good last year. The Giants were awful last year. They ended up going 4-0 against the NFC East, and this year they're playing the NFC West, which looks tougher. They've only played one of them so far, and they're 0-1. They'll still play the Rams this week in Seattle and Arizona. So you just kind of take those parts of the schedule out and put it together and kind of see where they may land. They've already gotten one up over last year, though, because they beat San Diego last week. They lost both games to San Diego last year. So it's not the 9-0 start they had, but I think this is a pretty impressive start because they played much better teams this time around.
Yeah, and you talk about, the NFC East. The Cowboys are much improved, playing some of the best football in the NFL. The Eagles are playing very well, too, so it's totally different. The Redskins are still struggling, and, of course, the Giants are struggling as well, talking to Todd Leabo.
It switches from year to year.
It does.
You can't really tell, but last year was the year to play the Eagles.
Yeah, even the Seahawks are struggling right now. So let me ask you this question, because a lot of the football during the offseason was negative. Ray Rice, domestic violence, verbal abuse, physical abuse, all the different DUIs, everything. But really, the Chiefs saw a lot of that before a lot of teams did. They had an unfortunate shooting right there on the stadium.
Murder-suicide.
But not to mention Larry Johnson, all the issues he had, that kind of went under the bus. But to me, that guy had a lot of issues too. Well, he was a great running back for the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have really been dealing with this for a long time, even before it was, in the forefront with the NFL this spring.
Yeah, I think most teams probably have. It's become a bigger issue now because, you start getting, outside entities involved. The NFL's always kept their stuff kind of private. Oh, we'll handle it internally. Handling it internally doesn't count anymore.
No.
Everyone else holds people accountable now, so handling things internally isn't going to fly. I can only imagine all the stories that I've heard over the years of things that happened with National Football League players or baseball players, mostly National Football League in the Chiefs, because there's more players. You got twice as many players in the team. There's twice as many people who can get in trouble. All that kind of stuff. Aggressive guys as opposed to passive baseball guys or whatever. But there's many stories I've heard about things that happened that never got reported in the news, never got charged for. Those things just don't happen anymore. You can't cover things up. It's just different today as compared to what it was, maybe 20 years ago. With the advent of social media, everyone thinks they're a journalist at this point.
Oh, my goodness.
If you see something happen and they're going to send a picture out or tweet, and then next thing you know, there's nothing hidden anymore. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is what it is.
Everybody's got a podcast.
There's no going back. There's no going back. Everyone's got a podcast. Everyone's got a blog. Everyone's got a phone they can gather media with and send it out to, there could be nobody looking, but it's out there, and someone can eventually find it and make whatever judgments they want from it. But yeah, it's been pretty calm couple of years here in Kansas City. That Javon Belcher thing was one of the most horrific things you could ever imagine. You don't expect it. A Saturday morning before a game during the season to find out that someone has killed his mother of his child and then gone to the facility where the team was in their meeting. Who knows what was on his mind?
Todd.
And to get caught outside and take his own life in front of his head coach and his general manager. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, let's step back to Chiefs for a while. We got about 60 seconds real quick. Stoops in Oklahoma, you went to school there. He's following the footsteps of Barry Switzer, staying there for so long. Is he still happy? Is he still evolving? Is Oklahoma growing as a program?
I'll tell you what, the Big 12 is a tough nut to crack these days. He's playing 9 league games, and there's 4 or 5 really good teams in here. It's not an easy path. I think it's going to take a few months to figure out how this whole playoff thing shakes out and what leagues are going to get the most part out of it. It is not going to be easy in a league like the Big 12 to make that because they're going to beat each other up. And, we saw a perfect example of that last week when K-State beat Oklahoma 31-30 down in Norman.
Will you be at the Royals game tonight?
I was there last night, and probably will be there tonight, but I I'm stuck with a ticket at this point. They cut their credentials down on sports radio. We only have 2 for the station. And we've got our baseball guys who are out there. So.
Todd, real quick.
But there was a fan last night.
Tell us, because, a lot of us work games. I work a lot of TV, radio games like you do, that fans don't realize for media, sometimes we just like to sit at home because we're there 9 to 12 hours, and it's
no doubt.
It's like the before and after, and you think about, wow, that's a lot of time at one venue.
And I'm telling you what, it's a whole lot more fun to be a fan of the game sometimes than it is to be in the stands because, I was out covering the ALDS and the wild card, and you're stuck in the press box where there's a lot less energy. And, you then the second it's over, you can't just go home or go have a beer. You have to go downstairs to work. And,
no.
Listen, it's not real work. I'll say that. I'm not going to complain.
No.
But a lot of times it's more fun to be a fan than it is to be working.
All right, leave us your Twitter handle. Give us your Twitter handle.
It's Leabonics, Leabonics.
All right, well, let's see if the Royals can become the Bionic Man tonight and get back to 1-1.
All right, we'll see.
Very good. Todd Leabo, thanks for your time, your talent, and your treasure. Really enjoyed talking today, my friend. Best of luck to the Royals and the Chiefs.
All right, anytime. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Ken Johnson, that was Todd Leabo talking directly to the heart of the World Series. Stay tuned for CBS News.
CBS News coming up next, and we'll check on that James River Bridge opening, see if it actually happened to 12:31.
CBS News Special Report. I'm Steve Kathan. Audio from the Globe and Mail. Gunfire inside the Canadian Parliament building in Ottawa.
We heard 2 gunshots over there, and then just people running and screaming.
Reports indicate shots fired at 3 locations, a mall, inside Parliament, outside at a war memorial where a soldier was wounded. Reporter Peter Henderson tells Sky News.
I ran up, sort of looked around to make sure that there was no one with a gun coming at me, ran into the middle and saw a young man, clearly a soldier, clearly one of the members of Canada's Ceremonial Honor Guard. He was lying down on the ground.
CBC reporter Hannah Thibodeau.
When I go and talk to police on the ground, they say there is conflicting information for them too, but they are still on high alert, and there's still concern that there are other shooters out there.
Unconfirmed reports say 1 gunman is dead in Ottawa. CBS News Special Report. I'm Steve Kathan.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their 2 locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
Hello, this is Big Bear inviting you to visit myself and Grandma Bear at Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you'll find the best new and gently used children's brand name clothing and equipment. Clothing from newborn to teens. Dresses, suits, shoes, strollers, bassinets, toys, and anything else you need. Little Bear's is your stop. We even carry maternity clothes. Check us out on Facebook or stop in 200 North Battlefield Boulevard in the Harbor Watch Shops of Chesapeake near the locks. Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you're always greeted with a smile.
Excellent Italian food is found at Spaghetti Eddie's, a neighborhood restaurant with a great family atmosphere and delicious Italian cuisine. Define Spaghetti Eddie's. New York-style pizza, pasta, subs, calzones, soups, salads will bring you back again and again. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Greenbrier and Western Branch. Quality Italian food is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
The tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with the fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Trafford Road in Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition October 23rd through 25th.
The restaurant we've all been waiting for is here. Introducing Ipan Mano Kitchen. Critically acclaimed chef Silva Sennett and his culinary team specialize in new American Asian cuisine. The very best in Chinese, Japanese, Thai food with an American flair. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Ipan Mano Kitchen is located inside the Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News. Call 249-0033 and log on to IpanManoKitchen.com. Find them on Twitter at Ipan Mano.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights on Sports Scene, presented by DJBTV.com Marketplace Sponsors page.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Excellent first guest, Todd Leabo, talking the Royals World Series against the Giants. Giants, of course, are up 1-0, and, of course, talked about Charlie Weiss moving on from Kansas, talked about the Chiefs, how well they're doing under Andy Reid. Really great perspective. We get the best guests right here talking the World Series relevant action when it happens right here on Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. For archive shows, go to gjbtv.com, click the YouTube link. Congratulations to all the Admirals winners. We'll be giving away tickets throughout the season. Tell your friends to stay tuned to Sports Scene to win Admirals tickets right here on Sports Scene every 12 to 1 on Wednesday, 12 to 1, Sports Scene. Save the date right here. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors of gjbtv.com, Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Save the date for Sports Scene, Wednesday, 12 to 1. Our business spotlight scenes are coming up. What Teased Me Off, always a lot of fun. Sports Highlights, the interview show, and nnpstv.com. Great guests. And, of course, big Redskins Cowboys game Monday night. Of course, Cowboys playing so much better than the Redskins right now. Unbelievable. Should not even be close, but we'll see what the Redskins do with a different quarterback. And, of course, for more, log on to gjbtv.com and Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Always fun to talk to you and interact with you on Twitter as well. And thanks for listening to Sports Scene. Really mean it, folks. Appreciate all your great support on Twitter. And, of course, all the great texts, phone calls, and emails right here about Sports Scene. All right, stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages. The tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with the fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Trafford Road in Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition October 23rd through 25th.
Hello, this is Big Bear inviting you to visit myself and Grandma Bear at Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you'll find the best new and gently used children's brand name clothing and equipment. Clothing from newborn to teens. Dresses, suits, shoes, strollers, bassinets, toys, and anything else you need. Little Bear's is your stop. We even carry maternity clothes. Check us out on Facebook or stop in 200 North Battlefield Boulevard in the Harbor Watch Shops of Chesapeake near the locks. Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you're always greeted with a smile.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they feature an excellent lunch buffet at their 2 establishments. Visit the 2 locations, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off Battlefield and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Online, IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Call 410-1183 for the India Palace. Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
But first, let me take a selfie.
Trying to fire you up a little bit on this very overcast, cloudy day. Don't forget the Newport News Greek Festival starting tomorrow, October 23rd to 25th. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. Don't forget, folks, this is a live radio show. Live meaning that not tape. We do it live on the spot. Time, talent, and treasure. And we really appreciate you listening right here to News Talk 1650. We don't tape things. We do it live right here. Ken Johnson and I, we take care of business right here on Sports Scene. All right, let's welcome our next guest, John Phillips, who's going to talk to us about a big event at the Virginia Living Museum. John, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great. Great today. How are you today?
Good, very good as well on this Wednesday. Of course, talk about what's going on at the Virginia Living Museum.
Well, I'm delighted to be here to share some great news. We're having our third annual Aw Shucks Oyster Roast at the museum, the Virginia Living Museum. And we were fortunate enough last year to be voted the best of the 757 for the outdoor festivals, and hopefully to continue that on this year. And we're having that on Saturday, November the 15th from 3 to 7.
Sounds like a lot of fun. How do people go ahead and get tickets to this nice event?
Well, there's two ways. We do have some members that have tickets if you happen to know somebody that's with the Virginia Living Museum, but the best way is to go online at www.vlm.org, and you can order them right on the website.
Very good, very good. What kind of seafood are they going to have that day?
Well, we're primarily featuring Rappahannock oysters, and I'm real big on getting local, so we'll have those three different ways. We'll have them steamed, fried, and raw. We'll also have some different kinds of soups and chowders, dessert. We'll have a little bit of shrimp along with that, and so we're really looking forward to having folks come out and it's all you can eat. So we're hoping people come out and have a good afternoon. It's
really a great venue there. It's really local. You mentioned right off 64 on J. Clyde Morris. So it's really there's something for everyone, John. Very convenient to everybody in Hampton Roads.
Absolutely, and this, just so you know, for our listeners, it mainly is an adult type event. So, you know, we do plenty during the week and on weekends with the kids, but we wanted the folks to kind of moms and dads to come out and have a really good time. Maybe without the kids on this particular event.
yeah, exactly. Of course, it's always fun right before Thanksgiving and right before Christmas. Really, it makes a nice gift to give somebody as well, just to want to treasure somebody that does a lot of work for you during the week. Hey, give them a couple tickets to this nice event coming up. It's always good.
Absolutely. We have a lot of fun, and we really appreciate people supporting the museum and supporting this wonderful cause.
Any entertainment going on that day with the food?
We do. We do actually have some DJs that are going to be there, and we've got a little small band that's going to play a little bit for us, and so we always have a good time with those folks as well.
Now, for people concerned about the weather and the rain, what should you tell them?
This is a rain or shine event, and we do have preparations made that if it does happen to rain, we can bring a lot of those folks inside, so you don't have to worry about what the weather's going to be. But so far, we've luckily never had any rain, but if we do, we're prepared for it.
I remember my mom and dad always loving fried oysters in Gloucester. They would just get them this time of the year. I never really could understand it as a kid, but John, there's nothing like oysters.
Man, I tell you, we're real proud that the oyster harvest is coming back with full force, and Rappahannock's, all the rivers are doing real well, but in particular, Rappahannock's doing real well. I just spoke to a gentleman yesterday, said that he's really having a good harvest this year.
Well, go ahead and give us the date again and the location, and we'll go from there.
Sure. It's Saturday, November the 15th from 3 to 7. It's at the Virginia Living Museum. Tickets are $40 in advance or $50 the week of the event, and it is a 21 and above event.
Right, and Google Virginia Living Museum. It's in Newport News. And, John, all the best to you and continued success, and thank you for everything you do for the community as well in Hampton Roads.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having us on.
My pleasure. John Phillips right there, Ken Johnson, and so many different events and festivals this time of the year.
And always a good thing to have oysters, too, on the menu. That's always very popular, no matter how you do them, whether they're in the bottom of a glass, cooked, fried, broiled, baked.
They're good for you,
soup,
add a little hot sauce to it, a little vinegar, you can even bake them, fry them, put them on the grill, whatever. How about, make them a po' boy sandwich there, Kenny?
Yeah, my father used to like to put oysters on a pan in the oven for about an hour, bake them, wait till they pop open. As soon as they're done baking, he'd pop them open, a little hot sauce he'd make himself, and good to go.
And a little butter. Got to add a little butter. We're in the South here. You got to have a little butter. There's nothing like good seafood. We're really lucky to have it here. Great event at the Virginia Living Museum. We've talked to Todd Leabo so far, John Phillips. Stay tuned. We'll have a lot more fun stuff after these messages on Sports Scene.
The restaurant we've all been waiting for is here. Introducing Ipan Mano Kitchen. Critically acclaimed chef Silva Sennett and his culinary team specialize in new American Asian cuisine. The very best in Chinese, Japanese, Thai food with an American flair. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Ipan Mano Kitchen is located inside the Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News. Call 249-0033 and log on to ipanmanokitchen.com. Find them on Twitter at Ipan Mano.
Hello, this is Big Bear inviting you to visit myself and Grandma Bear at Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you'll find the best new and gently used children's brand name clothing and equipment. Clothing from newborn to teens. Dresses, suits, shoes, strollers, bassinets, toys, and anything else you need. Little Bear's is your stop. We even carry maternity clothes. Check us out on Facebook or stop in 200 North Battlefield Boulevard in the Harbor Watch Shops of Chesapeake near the locks. Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you're always greeted with a smile.
Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
The tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with the fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Trafford Road in Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition October 23rd through 25th.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Excuse me, Dougie Fresh. Yes! Have you ever seen a show with fellas on the mic?
All right, we mentioned the Royals, making the World Series. This is kind of music from the 1980s, too. Got a flashback, of course, Royals, Giants in the World Series, of course, and great talking to Todd Leabo. We just talked to John Phillips about the big event going on at the Virginia Living Museum, so a lot of great stuff going on. Greg Bicouvaris with my loyal producer, Ken Johnson. We used to work at another news talk station back in the 90s. And, of course, this is one of these days, folks, you're driving around, it's overcast, it's starting to make you think of Mom in the kitchen, baking those nice rolls. Thanksgiving is literally a month away. Christmas 2 months away. Of course, people are all excited about the holidays. It's really, this day makes you feel like the holidays. Let's welcome our buddy, our regular guest here, Brenda Tusing from The Royal Chocolate. I want to emphasize The Royal Chocolate. How are you, Brenda?
I'm great today, Greg. How are you?
Doesn't this make you feel like a holiday kind of day?
It does. It does. I'm looking at, all the pumpkin-flavored things in the store and just the decor we change, of course, seasonally. All the hot chocolate orders we've been doing today.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's a little brisk out there. We have a pretty fireplace in here in the store, and people like to sit down and eat some chocolate and have a little hot chocolate or coffee. So, yeah. Tis the season already.
Absolutely. It really is. And, you and I talk about, we talk every month, back really after Labor Day, doesn't it pretty much start the holiday season, Brenda? You see the pumpkins, you see the Thanksgiving, the Christmas stuff. It really, summer's great, but there really is not a whole lot of gap there after Labor Day.
It feels like it, and some people really don't enjoy that. And
right.
even myself, we try to, not jump into it any sooner than we need to. But, then there comes that turn in everybody's emotion, I guess. And the holidays are exciting, so we're ready to get excited about something.
Oh, yeah. Well, you mentioned the hot chocolate. Let's talk about what's everything on the menu at the Royal Chocolate besides candy. Talk about your menu.
We have a pretty vast menu, actually. We have, I just couldn't even begin to explain how much chocolate between what we make here in the store, the gourmet apples, the chocolate bars. Actually, we were just sampling some new, that's one of the downsides to owning the store. We have to sample everything. So we're trying some new chocolate bars to bring in for the fall season. Our truffles are spectacular. We do chocolate fondue in the store, and really, on a day like today, it's kind of like comfort food. You want to enjoy some fondue. We have cookies, and we have, I think I mentioned last time, we have our 3-pound turkeys ready to go for Thanksgiving. So, we've got a little bit of everything in here. We are all things chocolate.
Well, let's talk about some of the moms out there listening that have kids as far as eating some of the candy there. What do you recommend as far as how old should a kid start eating candy? And people don't talk about that enough because of dentists and so forth and say about washing your stuff. What do you recommend for kids?
I would never recommend something for somebody's child as far as a time frame, but I do watch, and back when I was a kid, and certainly when my kids were young, I see children not eating really chocolate until maybe they're a year old.
Right.
And that's, a personal preference between certainly the parents and the kids and the doctors. But once they get get into that age where they're enjoying things. We have so many things for kids, especially during the holidays. All the little lollipops and the chocolate-covered, the M&M covered pretzels, and just fun things for kids. We also we're really tuned in to people in general, but children in particular, who maybe have peanut allergies or some sort of an allergy. It's really sad when kids come into a store and everybody's trying things and they can't participate. So we brought in a nut-free line that does very well, and we have some kids events. We do children's birthday parties in the store. We're actually doing a fundraiser for Blankets for the Homeless, and we're doing Create Your Own Chocolate Bar, where kids of all ages, as we say, like to come in and create their own chocolate bar and decorate the packaging, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's talk about your address and your location.
Sure. We are at 164 Central Park Avenue in Virginia Beach. We're in the Virginia Beach Town Center. We have a great website, and you can see our events on there as well, theroyalchocolate.com. We've been here almost 8 years now.
Yeah, it's hard to believe we're 2 months away from Christmas. I mean, what events do you have coming up the rest of the quarter?
Well, as I said, we've got our fundraiser coming up. We are going to be participating in the Chocolate Festival, which is coming up on the 15th and 16th of November at the Virginia Beach at the Convention Center. We're doing we'll be doing muffins and mimosas in the store. We haven't done this before. That'll kick off our Silver Saturdays in December. We're going to have a visit from Santa on, I believe it's December. Don't quote me on the date. It's the first Saturday in December. So we're going to have a photographer here taking pictures for the kids. We'll do a lot of discounts. Our Customer Appreciation Day is coming up. It's the same day as Small Business Saturday this year. So just tons of things going on. It's a very busy time of year for all of us. Yeah.
And really, right after New Year's, you got Valentine's coming up, too.
Oh, I know. It really doesn't stop from now until Mother's Day.
Yeah, totally.
That's when it slows down for us. But, yeah, it's getting crazy. We love it.
All right, you can find Brenda on theroyalchocolate.com. Go to HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. You'll see her link right there with the other 34 businesses on there right now. Don't forget, folks, November the 6th, there'll be a big billboard at 164 as you're heading from Newport News to the south side. You'll see visit HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. And, of course, when you want to shop for the holidays, shop for that special loved one. Hey, guys, if you're out there getting that great wings and pizza for your food, go by there and get some chocolate for your wife or your girlfriend or your daughter, right, Brenda?
Be a star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
557-6925. That's 557-6925 is the phone number. Go ahead, Brenda.
Just wanted to throw in that remember that we deliver locally all year long, and we are beginning to ship packages across the country. The weather has finally cooled enough that we feel comfortable putting things in the mail. So, yeah, you can go online or come in the store, and we can help get your packages delivered.
And you hear that, Admirals fans? This station carries the Norfolk Admirals hockey. They play down at the Scope. Go buy your candy for your wife or your girlfriend right there at the Royal Chocolate. And say hello to Terry and the great staff, and we will talk to you again a couple times next month.
Sounds great, Greg. Thanks so much.
Have a great day. Okay.
You have a great day, too.
Thank you. All right, Brenda Tusing right there from the Royal Chocolate Can. Just, we always got to watch our candy intake, but there's never a bad day for candy.
I'll watch it. It goes right down to my mouth.
There you go. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with what teased me off.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they feature an excellent lunch buffet at their 2 establishments. Visit the 2 locations, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off Battlefield and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Online, IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Call 410-1183 for the India Palace.
Hello, this is Big Bear inviting you to visit myself and Grandma Bear at Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you'll find the best new and gently used children's brand name clothing and equipment. Clothing from newborn to teens. Dresses, suits, shoes, strollers, bassinets, toys, and anything else you need. Little Bear's is your stop. We even carry maternity clothes. Check us out on Facebook or stop in 200 North Battlefield Boulevard in the Harbor Watch Shops of Chesapeake near the locks. Little Bear's Consignment Boutique, where you're always greeted with a smile.
The tradition of the Newport News Greek Festival continues with a fall edition October 23rd through 25th. All of your favorite Greek food, beverages, desserts will all be on display at 60 Trafford Road in Newport News inside the Hellenic Center on the grounds of Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church. October 23rd, 4 to 9 p.m. and October 24th and 25th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. See you at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition, October 23rd through 25th.
The restaurant we've all been waiting for is here. Introducing Ipan Mano Kitchen. Critically acclaimed chef Silva Sennett and his culinary team specialize in new American Asian cuisine. The very best in Chinese, Japanese, Thai food with an American flair. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Ipan Mano Kitchen is located inside the Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News. Call 249-0033 and log on to ipanmanokitchen.com. Find them on Twitter at Ipan Mano.
Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
And our good friends at Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Find me on Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Don't forget Sports Scene right here every Wednesday, 12 to 1. For archive shows, just click the YouTube image, folks, and go to GJBTV.com. Catch a previous guest that you might have enjoyed right here on Sports Scene on demand. Right there, great audio, video content. Go to GJBTV.com. Tell your friends. And, of course, don't forget the fire sale going on right now on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Just email bicogb@hotmail.com or call 291-4234. That's 291-4234 for HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com to get your link up on the website. Call 291-4234. Very simple to put your link on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Ken, what teased me off? Faucets in the bathrooms that have regulated water. I mean, really, what's the point of washing your hands if there's barely any water coming out of the faucet?
Yeah, you mean restricted the amount of water coming out? That does seem a little counterproductive.
Or toilets that flush by a step. You know how awkward that is, folks? When you go into a public business and you got to like step a certain way for a toilet to flush. Ken, you know that at movie theaters, a lot of that happens in big department stores. Not manually, but people who leave things in restrooms as well. That doesn't help either, folks. We don't want to see it.
No, it is. I haven't seen a foot-operated toilet since I rode the C&O Railroad back in the day. I mean, they've got those automatic things now that work fine for adults, but if you're below that sensor, like a kid, it doesn't work.
No, you got to watch it. You know, you need to. You can tell a lot by. I was getting gas on the way back from Baltimore Sunday after going to the Ravens Falcons game, working for Fox, and had to stop by a gas station. You can tell a lot by a business by its restroom, Kenny.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Quick story. When my mother was still alive, we were heading out somewhere on 58, and we went to a gas station. I won't mention which gas station. I already told you where it is. It's on 58 in Suffolk. And my bride went in to use the restroom and came out, and just on the look in her face, I nudged my mom and said, look at that face. That bathroom had to have been god-awful. And sure enough, she came back in the car and says, that is the nastiest bathroom I've ever seen in my life. And it was so funny.
It's true, though. You know, no matter where you go this time of the year when it starts getting fall and winter outside, whether you go to a sporting event, a restaurant, a reception, church, movie, baptism, 2 to 3 hours like we've talked about before on the show is about all you can handle. Any more than that, people start to get tired, disinterested. We know we got to work for 8 hours and go to school, but still anything else on your own time, 2 hours, 3 hours, Ken, seems to be just about enough time.
Yeah, it's a attention deficit disorder kind of society these days. Keep it short and sweet. Think of it as Twitter. Think of your event as Twitter. Do it in 180 minutes or less.
Or 140 characters or less, right?
You
and, you know, people are tired and hungry during the week, they really don't want to go anywhere. Try to get them to go out during the weekend a lot easier. People who walk behind starting cars that have ignition on by themselves or with kids. Folks, look in a parking lot. Cars are starting, and just don't assume that you can walk behind a car. You might get hit, and guess what? It'll be your fault for not having your eyes open.
And I see that all the time, and it drives me nuts. I'll see a parent walking with a small child, and I do mean a small, like 3 and 4 years old, alongside the street, and they don't have the child's hand, and there's cars whizzing by. And, little ones, they don't pay attention. They'll whiz out. Hold on to your children, for God's sakes, people.
And don't stroll them when it's raining outside either. And finally, Kenny, people who don't realize there is a long line behind them at a bank because they are babbling to the bank teller or somebody else in the customer service line. Look, guess what? There's a long line behind you at that restaurant or bank.
And by the way, if you're driving, use the rearview mirror. Look at that line of cars behind you. Get over to the right.
Very good. I want to thank Todd Leabo, John Phillips, also Brenda Tusing. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. Follow me on Twitter at Greg Bick. And don't forget to shop on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Tell your friends. We'll see you at the Newport News Greek Festival tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Sports Scene next Wednesday from 12 to 1. We'll be off November the 5th because of the Admirals. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 1 o'clock, time for Remnant Radio.